All right, guys. The next thing in this whole budgeting is to look at your food. What percent of your budget is food? Nope. 15%. She's not even in the class. Why does she know that and you don't? All right, guys. 15% of your budget is food. That's half the amount that you're allowed to spend on like your rent or your mortgage. Think about that. It's a lot of money. Why do you spend so much money on food? Because you got to eat, right? You get hungry. Think about you eat 3 meals a day, or you should eat 3 meals a day. What we're going to talk about today, though, is like creating a meal plan and like what should be in a meal plan. We did this last semester, and the meal plans people gave back to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, you were going to die when you're like 35. Like, you people need to learn how to like eat a little healthier. And like, obviously you don't eat healthy every single meal of every single day, right? But you should learn how what a balanced meal looks like. Some of you may do that at home now. Some of you may not do that at home right now. Yeah, so let me help try to combat that today and teach you maybe to live a little longer than that. Yeah, but guys, the big thing with a meal plan, I don't know what your household looks like. For me, every like Friday or Saturday night usually, I make a meal plan for the entire week. Like every meal is planned out. I have a board in my kitchen that has every meal like we're having all week long. Yeah. Yep. But the reason I do that is when I buy groceries 1 day a week, not running to the store every single day to buy whatever I want to make for dinner that night. That wastes a lot of time. Okay. Also, you guys ever buy stuff and then you never actually get around to eating it and it goes bad? That's a waste of money. So like we have a meal plan in our house. Like this is what we eat every day of the week. This is what we follow. This is what groceries are in the fridge, ready to go. Like all the meat, all the produce, whatever I need for every single meal. Saves money, saves time. I mean, I have 3 kids and all 3 of them are busy in sports and dance and everything else. So like for me, like I need to know exactly what is like on the menu every single night. Okay. So we're going to talk about that, how to create a meal plan, what should be in every meal, and then we're going to look at grocery shopping as well. Okay. We're going to work on that. Well, they say you should never get groceries when you're hungry because you will buy a lot more crap than you probably should. Yeah, I use ClickList all the time. Anybody use ClickList in your house? Nobody? ClickList is through Kroger. Like I go on at night, like I fill out my cart, what I want, all my groceries, and then the next day I set up a time, like within an hour time span. And usually my husband then will go after work and he'll just pick it up for me and bring it home. It saves time. I can grocery shop when I'm watching TV on the couch, sitting on my computer, on my phone, and then he just picks it up and it's done. I don't have to waste an hour running around the store trying to find everything. Walmart does the same thing. They have that too. Yeah, it is really neat. And a lot of times, like Mrs. Bierheller was just in here, she was saying like she's eating a lot of pork this week. And her husband's like, why are we eating so much pork? And she's like, 1, it was on sale, so that's what we're eating this week. She goes, and I ordered like a small package. It's just the 2 of them, and they were out of it. So if they're out of the smaller package, what do you think Kroger does? They give you the big package for the same price as the small one. If you order the off-brand and they're out, they will give you the name brand for the same price. Like, that happens a lot. Or they give you free stuff quite often. Like, I got an entire Thanksgiving turkey for free before. Yeah, so it's really nice to do ClickList. It costs $4.95 to do it. But I'm like, if I go in the store, I'm going to waste $4.95 on something I randomly see as I walk by anyway. So to me, it's worth it. All right, so let's talk about food. So food budget, again, is no more than 15% of your net income. So we're going to keep going back to that net income. Definitely can save money on food by cooking your own food at home instead of eating out. How many of you eat out 4 meals or more a day or a week? 4 meals or more a week? A couple of you? All right. And you know, eating off the dollar menu, it adds up after a while, right? Dollar menu is usually smaller portions, so do you just get like 1 or 2 things? No, you still spend quite a bit. All right, and it's not healthy either. All right, so definitely save money by cooking and eating at home. All right, so once you're on your own, right, we did the whole renting, you have your own apartment, you are on your own now. What do you eat? How many of you, show of hands, cook your own meals quite often? Okay, a couple of you. All right. The rest of you, mom or dad, usually maybe kind of have dinner ready for you in the evenings? I know growing up, that's the way it was. Mom always had dinner on the table around 6 o'clock. That's every night. All right. So So guys, now that you're in charge of your own food, what do you need to eat? And last semester, I didn't talk about any of this stuff, and then I saw the kind of meal plans and things kids were choosing to eat, and oh my God, we need to talk about what's healthy, okay? So this is how your plate should be broken down. If you just kind of look at a very general picture, if you don't even read all the words on the side, right? What should the most of your meal be?
Vegetables.
It should be vegetables. Okay, you need vegetables, guys. They're healthy for you. All right, you should have some sort of fruits, whole grains, and a healthy protein. Is deli meat a healthy protein?
No.
No, it's not. Okay. It is a protein, and I guess if you don't normally get them, let's start somewhere, right? Baby steps into all this. But like this is what your meal should look like. How many of you on a regular basis your meal looks like that, your plate? Oh, ho, ho, not a single person. What'd you have for dinner last night? Mm-hmm. Oh, you've had ramen.
I had Italian chicken.
Italian chicken and what?
Italian chicken, macaroni and cheese, and what's the little can with all those little fruits in it? Fruit cocktail.
Oh, fruit cocktail. All right, so that was a little more balanced. I can appreciate that. It's a little more balanced.
Yeah, I made it myself. Not a problem.
Hey, he threw a fruit in there. What was he missing from his meal?
Vegetables.
He was missing the vegetables.
The only time I eat vegetables is when my mom makes spaghetti papa, and I'll eat everything but the green beans.
You gotta at least try to find one vegetable that you like. But if you notice that it says about veggies up here, potatoes and French fries don't count. Those are like starches. Those are not exactly healthy.
You should have corn up there if you can't digest corn.
Yeah, corn's not a great one to have either. Of course, like all my favorite vegetables are like the ones like you shouldn't eat, like potatoes, corn. Right, those are some of my favorites. Carrots, those aren't always the best ones either. Yeah.
What's it called? I don't know what it's called, but I think it's a vegetable. And they're really good.
That was a great story. I have no idea what vegetable you're referring to. Oh. Whoa.
Are those vegetables?
Yes. He couldn't think of the name of it. Yeah, I'm not a cucumber fan. Not at all. All right. So tips for healthy eating. Tips for healthy eating, guys. Choose good carbs, but not no carbs. Any of you ever hear of the Atkins diet? Where people completely like eliminate carbs from their diets? Yeah, you may drop weight really fast, but it's not healthy for you. Okay, your body needs carbs. It needs healthy fats. It needs all of that. And when you follow one of those diets that eliminates some of that stuff, your body doesn't know how to function without it. Okay, carbohydrates give you energy. So if you're really tired, maybe you don't eat enough carbohydrates. Okay, so some good carbs, vegetables, definitely, all of them. Whole fruits. So in other words, having a box or a glass of like apple juice does not count, okay? Actual whole fruits, an actual apple. Not necessarily applesauce because there's a lot of extra sugar in that, right? Actual apples, bananas. If you guys ever notice, there's an apple on my desk every single day. I eat one every day for a snack, okay? It's a healthy thing to have. All right, legumes, those are kind of beans for the most part. Peas fall into that category, but those are healthy. You guys like beans? Black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans. Oh my gosh, I could live off of beans. Yeah. Any of this? Okay, but like I tell my children, the stuff on this side, should you never eat it ever again? No, that's not what we're saying. Like everything in moderation. So I teach my kids. I can have a bowl of ice cream tonight, but if I have one every single night, not good, right? Every once in a while. Every once in a while. Not every day or every other day. Sure. Yeah. All right, but guys, like look through these lists. Like Neil just said, he doesn't eat anything on the healthy side. He eats everything on the bad side. Not good for you. All right. Potatoes can be good depending on how you cook them, and then sweet potatoes are actually very good for you. Which last night, dinner in my house last night was we had turkey burgers on whole wheat buns. We had a mixture of steamed veggies that were like broccoli, carrots, squash, and cauliflower steamed, and we had roasted sweet potatoes. That was dinner in my house last night.
I don't know how bad of a tutoring session I need on that. But yeah.
And that's a good dinner. My kids were ecstatic at dinner last night.
Yeah.
That's how my kids eat. Like, that's how I cook all the time. So that's all they know. My kids do not know what ramen noodles are. They've never.
Oh, yeah, where's the steak? Where's the meat? I need meat.
We eat turkey burgers.
I want, like, no, if I'm gonna get a burger, I'm gonna get a big old juicy burger with bacon, extra cheese, pickles, onions.
I'm not saying I don't eat that every once in a while, but that is not something I cook in my house. We may have that if we go out to dinner sometime, but not in my house. All right, make sure you're watching the protein package. Protein, fish, poultry. What's poultry? Chicken or turkey. Those are your healthier ones. Nuts and beans. Some people that don't eat meat, right? They get a lot of their protein from nuts and beans. All right, some healthy options: seafood, white meat, poultry, which would be your chicken and your turkey. Milk, cheese, and yogurt. Make sure you're choosing skim or low fat. Anybody drink whole milk in here? Whew. Oh, we are like nothing but skim in my house, and if you gave me whole milk, I would feel like I have to chew that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just is so thick. Oh. The cheapest protein, those of you who have money issues, eggs. Eggs are cheap, and they are a great source of protein. Should you eat just the egg white, or should you eat the whole thing?
Just the yolk.
You should actually have the whole thing. Whole thing. That's the whole thing. Some people don't eat the yolk because they don't think that's healthy for them, but the combination of the two together is actually the healthiest option. Different types of beans. Yes, your wheat toast into the dippy egg. My husband does it all the time. Real butter is actually better for you than that fake stuff, yeah. They did a study once with like a stick of margarine. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this. And they literally like sat it out. Like even flies won't land on a stick of margarine because it's plastic.
Plastic?
Mm-hmm.
Butter?
No, margarine. Margarine is supposed to be a healthier version of butter. It's fake. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I can't.
Butter.
It's not butter.
Actual butter.
I've never been able to split plastic.
A brand doesn't matter as long as it's actual butter, not margarine. Margarine actually is very unhealthy for you. Yeah, I can't believe it's not butter. It's really not. Yeah. Butter. I don't care what brand. No, Country Crock is margarine. I use stick butter. It'll literally say butter on it. It won't say margarine. Look and see what you have in your refrigerator. Yeah. Actual butter is healthier. If you look at it, it'll say it's margarine on it. Maybe if I get a chance, I'll look up that study where they did that with the margarine. All right. Healthy fats. People always say, like, I want everything fat-free. You need fat in your diet, okay? You have to have some. Healthier options, though, are like almond oil, coconut oil, corn. I've never had corn oil. Olive oil, canola oil. What oil is not listed on there? Which all of you probably have at home. Vegetable. I'm willing to bet if you go home, every single one of you have a bottle of vegetable oil in your pantry. That is not the healthiest choice. I use olive oil most of the time, or coconut oil. Corn oil? I've never actually had corn oil before. Is it? Must be okay. I've never had it. It is a spray stuff, so stuff doesn't stick. Be careful which one you buy. There's different types of Pam spray. some that are olive oil, some are vegetable oil, like some is canola oil. You got to look and see what kind it is. I do have Pam spray, but the one in my pantry is olive oil inside my Pam spray. Avocados. Somebody like avocados in here? Somebody like avocados? I have a friend, one of my best friends. She hated avocados until she was pregnant with her 4th child, and then now that's all she eats. Like she'll eat like 3 avocados a day. Like, what is your problem? Like ever since she got pregnant, he's 1 now, but she still loves them. But she hated them before she was pregnant. It's very weird. All right. The reason I bring up all of this after seeing all the unhealthy eating from my students from last semester is looking at obesity trends. Now, keep in mind, I am married to a phys ed teacher, and I used to be a trainer. So for me, looking at like obesity trends is very important. Okay? Want to make sure you don't have a bunch of fat kids.
Like a gym trainer or like a personal trainer?
Me? Both.
So like, what's your mile time?
I know lots of people have actually competed on that. And my husband detached his Achilles a few years back running up the warped wall at the gym I used to train at. I do too. I love that show.
What's your mile?
His Achilles, yeah, right here, that tendon that you feel here. Yeah, he detached it and rolled up in his calf. They had to like literally pull it down and sew it back on. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm not a fast runner. I run for distance, but not fast. Oh yeah, she runs like marathons. She's fast.
Last semester I had her, she was like, yeah, yesterday I just ran 13 miles. I was like, what?
I mean, I ran like 5 yesterday, but not 13.
You ran 5 miles?
Yeah. All right. So, guys, take a look at your obesity trends here. Oh, the years are at the bottom. Why do you think the trend lines are going up?
Because there's better food and more.
There's better food?
Yeah.
That people are getting fatter because there's better food?
Yeah. Better and cheaper junk food.
Say that again. Yes. Do you guys realize how much of your food is filled with chemicals? You said it. I'm not going to have an argument. I'm not arguing. But I mean, that's one of those things like anymore, a lot of stuff has chemicals in it. Do you guys know who Jillian Michaels is? She used to be like Biggest Loser, that show used to be on, like she's a major trainer and all of that. She was in Detroit a few years ago, and my husband and I went to go see her speak. And like she was showing pictures of like, here's a chicken breast. We were like, yeah, okay. And then she showed one that did not have growth hormones in it, and like the size difference. How many chickens do you see running around with chicken breasts the size that you see them in the store? Like it doesn't happen. So like ever since then, like that's one thing, like we buy all organic meats in my house. We buy organic vegetables and fruit and stuff. It is expensive, but I would rather spend my money on healthy foods to give my kids and myself than on doctor bills and things because of all the chemicals that they're ingesting. So we have a garden. Yeah, we grow a lot in the summertime. But anyway, I just wanted you guys to see that. I thought that was very disturbing, those growth trends there. But I mean, a lot of times people don't have as much money, and what's the cheapest things to buy? The unhealthy stuff. Healthy food's not all that cheap. Like you guys said about organic, it's expensive. But there's some obesity rates. Me as a math teacher, I like numbers. But you can see the percentages. I mean, the highest percentage on there, you're looking at women over the age of 20. Yeah, boys 2 to 19. I mean, for me, like some of these like ages right in here, like 19, you guys ever hear of like the freshman 20? You go away to school, your first year of college, away from home. Oh, it was always the 20 when we talked about it. Freshman 15. It's because you eat out, right? You're in college, you don't know how to eat healthy, you just eat whatever's cheap. And you gain a lot of weight, which is spaghetti. All right, so let's talk about I gave you guys an example of a healthy meal plan for a day. Just kind of look so you can get an example. So for breakfast, whole wheat English muffin with 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. If you guys have never had an English muffin with peanut butter on it, it is delicious. So, no. English muffin, put some peanut butter on it, is actually really good. So like have that for breakfast. It's a whole English muffin, so it's 2 halves, tablespoon of peanut butter on each. Okay, an orange. You could always choose another type of fruit if you don't like oranges. And a 12-ounce, it's a large glass of milk. And then you could have a cup of coffee or tea. People always think if I'm eating healthy that I'm not eating much. That is so false. You can actually eat a ton of food if you eat healthy. Have a snack between breakfast and lunch, cup of carrots, hummus, or half a piece of pita bread and water. It's a nice snack. It sounds amazing. Lunch, turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread, not white, Jacob. And a cup of vegetable soup. So soup and sandwich. You guys ever go to Panera? You get the soup and sandwich, the pick two combo. It's like my favorite thing at Panera. Snack later, in between lunch and dinner, you can have a cup of grapes. Sounds amazing. I love grapes. Dinner, an 8-ounce turkey breast, cup of green beans, cup of brown rice, a garden salad with 2 tablespoons of dressing.
Yeah, I don't have this much time.
That's the biggest thing people always say is they don't have time. You meal prep. You meal prep. What you do, like a lot of people, they'll take like one night, like usually like I know I have friends who do this like on a Sunday, and they will prep meals for the entire week. Like if you know this is kind of your snack, if you're like me, you kind of get like I want to use everything before it goes bad. So like for 1 week, that may be my same snacks every day. Because I can prep them in one day and set them like in individual like snack size bags and just prep them for the whole week, stick them in the fridge every day when you leave, just grab them out of the fridge on the way.
See, that's what I do.
Take, you know, an hour on a Sunday to kind of prep that in advance. I mean, honestly, that's if you want to do it and do it well, that's what you have to do. But I get it. Like it's overwhelming sometimes. Pick one meal that you're going to do well for like a month. Pick one meal. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do good on dinners this week. And then just focus on that, one thing at a time. Okay? But do you realize how many times you're eating throughout this day? Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and there's even another snack down there. 5 graham crackers, a cup of strawberries, and a glass of milk. Oh, graham crackers? They're amazing.
You never just eat saltines because there was nothing in your house?
All right. So guys, what we're going to do is with your table groups, Jaden, you can join one of the table groups in the back that only have 3 at them. You can move back there. All right, so with your table groups, I'm going to have you guys draw a popsicle stick that has a random main dish on it. Okay? So main dishes aren't here. I'll even tell you what they all are. Pasta, meatloaf, steak, breakfast for dinner. We do that a lot in my household. Chili, chicken, and burgers. So those are some main dishes that I have on the sticks, okay? Guys, listen, I want to make sure you know what you're doing. You need to plan, you're planning one meal for me. One meal, that's it. Guys, listen, one meal. So I'm going to give you whatever the main dish is. You need to plan the entire meal around that. Because last semester I had students, I'm like, what are you having for dinner? They're like, chicken. And great, what are you having with that? Nothing. Like, you're not eating just a random piece of chicken. What are you doing with that? Like, are you putting any seasoning on it? You putting some... See, there you go. Like, you could do that. Right, but you need to have a plan. All right, so guys, when you're doing this meal plan, you need to think about what are you having with it, right? Like Jacob had, would you say Italian chicken? And fruit cocktail. Okay, but he had more than just a piece of chicken, right? He had Italian chicken. He made it, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you had more than just the main thing, right? A good meal has side dishes and other things. All right, think about what are you going to drink? Okay, you're going to have to plan this. And then also, are you having dessert after dinner? Can you have a dessert every once in a while? Yeah, you can. Of course you can. All right, so you're going to go ahead and plan this. Now, here's where this is kind of leading into our next activity that we're going to do tomorrow. Not only are you going to plan the entire meal, main dish, side dishes, drink, and dessert. That would be fantastic, but no. Sure, you can. But the other thing you're going to do is you need to make a list of what you need to buy at the grocery store in order to make everything on your meal plan. So first, as a group, once you get your main dish, you will plan the meal, whatever, all the sides, desserts, everything that you're going to have. Then you have to go through and think, okay, if I'm making chili, for instance, what do I need? I need beans, maybe some tomato sauce. What else do you need? What? Some chili powder? I mean, I would probably go with like ground beef or ground turkey, whatever you're putting in there, right? Like, but in other words, like you need the ingredients. And I'm glad you said chili powder, because who wants chili with no seasonings in it? All right. So guys, develop your whole meal plan, and then you need to come up with a list, everything you would need to buy at the grocery store. All right, now listen up, guys. Here's what I need you to do for me. One person, guys listen, one person from each group will need a Chromebook. Don't get it yet. Once the one person in the group, they're the one who's going to type everything up for you. So if you go to Classroom under Classwork, if you scroll down underneath our budgeting chapter, it'll be the last thing listed here. There's a meal planning template. There's just one slide. That's all it is, one slide. You guys are going to fill this. One person in your group will type all this up for me. You'll type out everything you need on your shopping list to make your meal. Down here, tell me what the main dish is that you pulled from the popsicle stick. What side dishes did you decide? What is your dessert? What are you having to drink? And then everybody's name in your group. And then up here, you will list for me every single thing you need to buy at the grocery store. Okay? When you are done, make sure you submit this to me so I can actually see it. Does that make sense? Yes? I mean, that's not a bad idea. I didn't think about that, but yeah, maybe. But I eat very healthy, so you got to keep that in mind if you're planning my meals.
So
Yeah.
like, for the drinks, is it like she gets to pick what drink you want?
No, like, we'll just, as a group, like, are you guys having water? Are you having lemonade? Are you having milk, tea? Like, come to a consensus on, like, one drink, one dessert. Guys, I don't know about, like, your family, but in my household, if this is what we're having for dinner, this is what everyone's having for dinner. I'm not the mom who makes a separate meal for every child because they don't want what we're having. You eat what we have or you go hungry. That's the way it is in my house. You eat it or nothing. Okay? All right, does that make sense? Everybody clear on what you're supposed to do? And make sure you submit this when you're done.